Hi everyone. So on the occasion of Mother's Day, I have been reflecting on my own journey as a mother and how I have been growing up as a person, but also as a mother since I had my first child. And it's been quite long. It's been 24 years since I became a mother. And I remember the early days when this little baby came into my life. I realized that we do not have a guidebook. We really do not have a manual to open, no matter how many books we read about pregnancy or motherhood or life, or it doesn't matter. Like we read a lot, but when it comes to real life, then we realize how challenging it is. So motherhood for me started off like that: no manual, no guidance, only personal experiences going to guide me. And that thought was a bit scary, challenging, and also exciting for me all at the same time. So, as usual, there are quite a few things, that you can say a list of to do and don't do for motherhood. And I feel like I can speak on this topic a little bit because I have made all the mistakes. I have done all the don't do's, and I'm yet to do all the do's that are required. So based on my own personal experience, I would say that when we first become mothers, we really have no clue, and we are given the responsibility of nurturing and nourishing and loving and caring for this little child. When we ourselves are going through a rough time with the hormonal changes, with a lot of psychological sort of uncertainties, and a mix of excitement and not knowing how this is going to go forward. So it's a cocktail of lots of physiological, psychological things and processes happening inside our own body, and at the same time we have a responsibility for looking after this child, or when we have more children, then more children. However, what I have learned over time is the first and foremost thing as a mother we can do is be the role model, be the person who they can just see and learn from. We are not going to lecture our kids into doing anything or tell them what to do or preach them what to do if we are not practicing, and if we are not actually showing them that this is how things can be done. And also, I think, as I said, I have been growing as a mother. So for our children, I think the first lesson that they should get is that we are always learning. It's a learning process. We did not come up at the very first moment we had a baby in our lap. We did not become a perfect mother at all. In fact, there is no such thing as perfect mother. Motherhood comes in different shapes and forms, and every child requires a different mother, and every mother is different with different children. So I think that's how this goes. The one thing I would say, particularly because I have two daughters, I would say about our children, somehow a lot of mothers start to look at their daughters or even their boys, I'm not too sure about that because that's not my personal experience, as their friends. And I feel like it's very nice to say, oh, my daughter is not just my daughter, she's also my friend. But I think what we do when we start to see them as our friends, as we start to share a lot with them about ourselves, about our journey, our traumas, our burdens, our insecurities, whatever is going in our mind, we start to share with them. And in that process, we forget that they are actually our children. So the hierarchy is there. The hierarchy is such that they are always going to be our children, and we are always going to be the mother. And the way this hierarchy works is that we are always going to be responsible for giving, and they are always going to be entitled to receiving, and this should not change. So when we start sharing with them, particularly things when we are not feeling good, or when we start complaining to them about our relationships, our husbands or our in-laws or our friends, or just about generally whatever we are going through our lives, particularly when we are struggling, and when we are sharing it with our children, I think it's a burden to them. They are not really in their world to listen to our burdens and to lessen our burden at all. I just love this thought about children, that our children come through us, not from us. And I think when we start to think like that, then we know that we are just a medium to bring in a soul in this world, look after them, care for them, nurture them, nourish them, but without any expectations from them. It is only our duty to give to them, to provide for them within our means, whatever we can provide to them. However, we live our life knowing that they are watching us, that they are learning from us. So, whatever qualities or characters we want to see in them, we have to have them first. And if we don't have them, then having that understanding that we can learn or we are learning, and our children should also see that it's okay to not know, it's okay to not be perfect, and it's okay to have this attitude of learning. Even if we don't know something, we'll learn through experience, right? So this is one of the major thing that I have been growing through as a mother, because I have made this mistake, and it is just a burden to our children if we share adult things with them, if we share things that are burdening us, that are heavy for us. Can you imagine if we share it with our children, how heavy that is for them? So the one thing that I would request all the mothers out there is to never discuss your personal problems or your problems with your spouses, your problems with your family, with your children. I don't think it does any good to them. The other thing is having this healthy detachment from any expectation, and in a lot of families, and particularly a lot of parents really expect a lot out of their children, and also just jokingly when they start saying, oh, when we grow older you'll look after us, or you shouldn't do anything that brings us shame or hurt or guilt or whatever. I don't think those things help at all. I think a life of no expectation from anyone is a most wonderful life, but particularly from our children. So we should actually very actively tell them that we have no expectations that they would do anything in return for whatever we are doing. What we are doing is our duty, just like our parents did for us, but what they are going to do, we should not expect anything in return from them. So in a give or take relationship, the parents always give, and the children always just take. And I think if we remember that, that would be wonderful. Again, as children, what they seek to be heard, they seek to be acknowledged, they seek to be seen by their parents. So, and when we are growing up, we make mistakes. We are still making mistakes as grown-ups, but especially when we are growing up, we are learning through our mistakes. We are making mistakes sometimes out of curiosity, sometimes just we can't help it. And during those times, for every parent, particularly the mother, to stand up and say, I support you, I see you, I acknowledge you, I know whatever you are going through is your experience, but just know that I'm here. So you open your doors, you open your eyes and ears and your heart for your children, for them to come and share with you anything that they want to share with you, without you turning around, shutting that topic down, or judging them, or be disappointed in them. Those things do not help. In fact, as parents, we really do not do those things at all as mothers. And the other very important thing I want to share is there are many studies now that are coming up about women's health in particular. So women have been conditioned through millennia to tolerate, to suppress their feelings, to take it all in, to be this sacrificial person, to be the more tolerant of all of us. It's all well and good. It could be part of our character, to be patient, to be tolerant, to be giving, to be nourishing, absolutely fine. But because of this conditioning through generations, what women have been doing is suppressing our feelings, particularly our negative feelings, our anger, our disappointment, our hurt, and all of that. So we should be sharing all of them, just not with our children. We should be sharing wherever is an appropriate forum, with our equals, with our peers, with our parents. We can do that. And also showing to our children, particularly girls, that they do not have to continue to play the role of the one that suppresses, that takes it all in, because on a physiological level, majority of women have autoimmune diseases. Let me put it this way. So the majority of people who have autoimmune diseases, it's actually tremendously high percentage of women who have them because of all of that suppressing that we have been doing. And it's not just us in this generation. What we also inherit is from our previous generation. So our mother and their mother and their mother, they have been doing that. So I think it's time for us, if we think that we are heading in the right direction with our own daughters, I think there should be a very clear message going to our daughters that we do not need to suppress, we do not need to be the one who continues to give and sacrifice. We should always believe in any relationship where giving and taking are equal, except parents. So I've told you, so between mother and daughter, mother is always giving, daughter is always receiving. But in any other relationship where the relationship is equal, there should be equal give and take. So I think as a mother of two daughters, I believe that I have been learning. I have been learning through my own mistakes. I have made all the mistakes that I have talked about, but I have learned from them. I am still learning from them. I look back and now I see how much more giving and nourishing this relationship has become between the mother and the daughters. And also, yes, very important, as mothers, we are also people first. We are also a person first before we became a mother, right? So as a person, if we are going through our traumas, if we have any unhealed traumas, most of us have either inherited traumas from our generations or acquired trauma in our own life through our own misfortune, or any other reason. If we have inherited trauma, it's our first and foremost duty to heal ourselves. Unless we are healed, we cannot raise healthy, healed children, right? So I think the first and foremost duty is for us. Check in with us. Are we going through, or are we holding on to trauma? Are we holding on to negativity? Are we holding on to anything that's not serving us anymore? Let's work on them. Let's heal ourselves. And there are many, many ways. Today there are many avenues, many ways to heal ourselves. So let's just seek those help. And let's just be healed. Let's just be those happy, healthy mothers who raise happy, healthy children. And as I said, just keep your ears, your eyes, your mouth, your heart, all in the service of unconditional love to our children, without any attachment of anything in return from them. And our relationship is that mothers give and children receive. So with that, happy Mother's Day, everyone. I was delighted to wake up in the morning with a lovely message from my daughter, who said that she practiced yoga today to honor Mother's Day. She knows how much I love practicing yoga, and I thought that was the best gift ever. And with that, I end this video, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful Mother's Day today and every day.